everyone who is present and listening to us. At this time, I'd like to have our board clerk to do the roll call after we're going to go over the board norms and protocols.
Maxine Drew.
Maxine Drew, present.
Yolanda Clark.
Yolanda Clark, present.
Janie Humphries.
Janie, present.
Randy Lopez.
Randy Lopez, present.
Wanda Brownlee Page.
Wanda Brownlee Page, present.
Valdina Nguyen.
Valdina Nguyen, present.
Stacy Yeager.
Okay, she's not here. So at this time, I would like to go over our board norms and protocols that as a board, we agree to respect the differences of opinions in making decisions for the district, to follow best practices in managing the superintendent and the management of the board itself, to stay on task when conducting business for the district, including while at board meetings, to never surprise the superintendent or each other when conducting official business of the district, to read these norms at the beginning of each board meeting and at board workshops as a reminder of how to conduct our meetings, to continually self-check to determine if we are following our norms when conducting district business. So with that being said, we will now go ahead and have the, excuse me for a minute. We'll now go ahead and have approval of the special agenda.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Susan, could you do the roll call for approval, please?
Yes. Maxine Drew.
Maxine Drew, yes.
Yolanda Clark.
Yolanda Clark, yes.
Janie Humphries.
Janie, yes.
Randy Lopez.
Randy, yes.
Wanda Brownlee Page.
Wanda Brownlee Page, yes.
Valdina Nguyen.
Valdina Nguyen, yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, thank you. We're now ready for the board policy review.
Madam President, can I ask a question first?
Yes, you may, thank you.
What is the definition of genetic information and how does that differ from sexual orientation?
Okay, is there someone here who can answer that?
Yeah, I don't know what the specific definition of genetic information is. It does come from a statute, but genetic information is anything that might be used from your genes, whether it's, if you do genetic testing, like to determine whether you're predisposed to diabetes or predisposed to heart conditions or things of that nature from a health standpoint. The idea behind this, the change in that statute, not only to account for sort of the transgender type issue, but is also designed to prevent against discrimination based upon pre-existing potential health conditions based upon your genes.
Okay, thank you. And then could I ask a process question, Madam Chairman?
Yes, thank you.
Chairwoman, excuse me. It's my understanding that if any board member would have a suggestion for additional language, then unless there is, that, number one, it could be adopted by consensus, which means then if there's no objection, is that correct, Mr. Goheen?
Yeah, there's a couple ways you could go about doing it. One is if there is any suggestion that a board member has to modify the proposed revisions to the policy, they can make that suggestion either verbally today or in writing sometime in between this read and the next read. If there's consensus by the board today to make that change, then we could make that change so it would be available when you have the second read so that language is in there. Or if there's not consensus, the options would either be to vote on it, or we could prepare two policy drafts, one with the revision in it, one without, that could be available for the second read for the board to vote on at that second read. So there's two ways to go about doing it.
Thank you. I thought it was important that at least we had that clarification, Madam Chair.
Sure.
Thank you. So could I get a motion that we accept the first read for the potential modification proposed changes to board policy GAAP, complaints of discrimination?
I have a question. Are we going in order? We're not doing GAAA? Did I miss something?
We're going according to how they're listed here in the agenda.
Oh, okay. I didn't see that. I was just going the way they were listed the last time.
Okay,
Agenda,
so
so
I'm just following the order of our agenda, and we'll go through each one if there's anything you want to add as mentioned before.
gotcha.
Thank you. So I'm still waiting for a motion that we accept the first read for GAAP. Are there any questions or concerns?
This is Randy. I move to accept the first read for GAAP.
This is Janie. I second.
Thank you. The motion has been made and seconded. Are there any questions? Susan, would you please do the roll call for approval?
She's muted.
Susan, can you unmute yourself, please?
Sorry. Maxine Drew,
Maxine Drew, yes.
Yolanda Clark,
Yolanda Clark, yes.
Janie Humphries,
Janie, yes.
Randy Lopez,
Randy, yes.
Wanda Brownlee Page,
Wanda Brownie Page, yes.
Valdina Nguyen.
Valdina Nguyen, yes.
Okay, motion passes.
Thank you. So we're now ready to accept the first read and potential modification proposed changes to board policy GAAA, equal employment opportunity and non-discrimination. Any comments or questions?
Madam President, I have some suggested language. However, do you need the motion first and seconded?
Yeah, I think what would make sense is we do the motion and the second, and then suggested changes would come up during the discussion. And then could be, if we want, that could be added to the read by consensus at that point, or however we want to handle it, depending on how the discussion goes.
Okay, so then I so move for policy GAAA, equal employment opportunity and non-discrimination.
I seconded. Janie.
It's been moved and seconded. Susan, roll call vote, please.
No, we need
Questions?
discussion.
Oh, I'm sorry, any questions?
I have some suggested language, please.
Okay,
And it's a thin line between, and Mr. Goheen, correct me if I'm wrong, it's a thin line between the GAAA, the first line where it says shall be employed, and then it may run over into hiring, the next one, but this is suggested language to add to GAAA.
Okay.
And I'll read slowly. In meeting staff's needs, the administration shall strive to maintain an equitable balance of employees in the various general categories of positions with regard to race, color, religion, sex/gender, parentheses, to include orientation, identity, or expression, close parentheses, age, disability, national origin, genetic information, or any other basis under the law.
so is that where you want the entire statement to end? Because as we notice in our document, there is added information.
No, this is inserted in the appropriate place.
Okay, inserted, thank you. Just wanted clarity on
Where
that.
there's
You're-
duplication, there may need to be some alteration.
Okay,
So you're suggesting that would be after the second paragraph? Was that where you're thinking about putting that?
Actually, I was thinking about putting it in between, but it doesn't matter where it goes.
In between the first and second?
Correct.
okay,
Because the first sentence says, individuals shall be employed on the basis of ability and the district's needs. I think it's a smooth transition to say then, in meeting staff's needs, the administration shall try to maintain an equitable balance,
Okay.
and on and on and on.
Okay. Any comments? So Mr. Goheen, again, correct me, to make sure I understand it. Once we have the suggestions, then we will vote to be able to approve.
Well, the suggestion, I think the way I was looking at this is that as part of the discussion, if people had suggested to language they wanted to add to the either modified language, add language to it, you still have the first read, but then what we try to do is if there's consensus that the board wants to have this language added or placed within the policy, then we would bring back at the second read a version of the policy with this language in it. So at the next meeting, that language would be in it. If there's not consensus, then what I'll do is I'll do two versions of the policy so you have both of them at the next meeting to be able to review and vote on.
Okay.
Does that make good sense? Because that gives everybody the time to actually see it in place before they say, yeah, I want this in, or yeah, I don't. Unless there's consensus, in which case I'll just put it in and it'll be available for the second read.
Thank you. So does everyone have any problems with the suggestion that's made that we can have it included in our second read so that we can actually see it and then be able to make a decision?
Do you want me to read it again?
Yeah, it's probably a good idea.
Okay. To be inserted in between the first sentence and the second paragraph, it would read, in meeting staff's needs, the administration shall strive to maintain an equitable balance of employees in the various general categories of positions with regard to race, color, religion, sex/gender, parentheses, to include orientation, identity, or expressions, close parentheses, age, disability, national origin, genetic information, or any other basis under the law.
Thank you. Any other comments? So therefore, could I get a motion?
I might make one slight suggestion if Dr. Nguyen doesn't mind. Instead of saying in meeting staff's needs, you might want to say in meeting the district's needs.
Okay, so corrected. Susan, did you get that?
Yes.
So it would read, in meeting district's needs.
Mhm. Anyone else? So therefore, could I get a motion that we will accept for the first read and the potential modification proposed changes to board policy GAAA, equal employment opportunity and non-discrimination, with the added suggestion that has been presented?
So move.
Okay, we had a motion on the floor and it had been seconded by Janie. So this would just be that we're adding the additional information, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
Thank you.
The way I would read it is what you're voting on is the first read with the proposed modification by Dr. Nguyen.
Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you. So Susan, could you go ahead and please, because it has been moved and seconded, could you please give us a roll call vote, please?
Yes. Maxine Drew,
Maxine Drew, yes.
Yolanda Clark,
Yolanda Clark, yes.
Janie Humphries,
Janie, yes.
Randy Lopez,
Randy, yes.
Wanda Brownlee Page,
On the Brownlee page, yes.
Valdina Nguyen.
Valdine Nguyen, yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
So just for clarification now, we'll bring it back for a second read. It will have the additional language in it. So when you guys see it next, it should have that
That's
modification.
correct.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. So now we're ready to accept the first read for potential modification, proposed changes to board policy GACC, recruitment and hiring.
So moved.
I need a second, please.
Second, this is
Thank
Randy.
It's been moved and seconded that we accept the first read and potential modification proposed for changes to board policy GACC, recruitment and hiring. Are there any questions?
Madam Chair, I have two places for suggested new language, please.
Okay,
I believe it would be under the second paragraph under hiring. Probably before the language starts, this is the gist. Applicants must meet the minimum qualifications and certifications for the position and simultaneously be the best qualified based on education, training, experience, and ability to fulfill the posted requirements of the position. Now, again, I don't know if that goes in, I don't think it goes in hiring sequence, Mr. Goheen. I think it would come under, I don't know if it come under recruitment or hiring.
I think it'd be under hiring, don't you?
Okay, that's what was my thought. Let me read it again. And I believe it should probably go first before it says the board shall approve the hiring of all employees. Correct?
My thought is, I think you want it clear in the hiring process that the board approves all hiring first, but
Okay. Doesn't matter where it goes in that
no,
section.
not really.
Whatever
I think it
is
can go either way.
a smooth movement. But this where it reads again. Applicants must meet the minimum qualifications and certifications for the position and simultaneously be the best qualified based on education, training, experience, and ability to fulfill the posted requirements of the position.
okay, any comments? I like the fact that you included some of the information, but there's some things that are part of it I think it's not necessary for us to have in it. And so for when we have our second read, I will be more specific. Any other board members have any comments?
Do you want to take that or do you want to hear the second one?
Let's hear the second one, please.
Okay, I believe it should go under the hiring sequence. The applicant shall undergo a comprehensive background check prior to approval of contract by the board. I didn't see anything in here where it talks about the background check.
So even though that is being done, you want it to be specified in this particular policy.
Correct. I think it protects the board. I mean, excuse me, it protects the district.
Any other comments?
Can you read that one more time, Dr. Nguyen?
Sure. The applicant shall undergo a comprehensive background check prior to approval of contract by the board.
Thank you.
And let me say, because of not only pedophiles, domestic violence, what we found to be the case that we don't always catch the felons, and still we may not catch them. If I'm correct, Greg, we don't have any cross reference, as you said before, with the court system.
Not specifically, no. We've got a background system we do where they're supposed to check the court system, but it's not perfect. That makes sense.
Unfortunately, it does.
One thing I would suggest, Dr. Nguyen, is instead of approval of the contract, which is the last word you had, I
Correct.
might say approval of employment, because not all of the employees have contracts.
Okay. Let me read again. The applicant shall undergo a comprehensive background check prior to approval of employment.
By the board.
Is by the board necessary?
I mean, the board approves it, but if you want to make it crystal clear, you put it in there. I would.
Okay, by the board.
And where in that sequence, in the hiring sequence of,
Do
did you
wanna-
want that right before the last one?
That
Right
probably
before
makes
approval.
sense. Don't you believe?
I'm sorry, would you repeat that?
Yes, that's where it belongs. It's right before the last sentence where you have approval by the board.
Yes. Okay, thank you.
And this is Yolanda, if we're calling out the background check, do we call out any drug testing? I'm just curious if that's the policy.
Now, drug testing would be different because potentially drug testing could fall under an ADA issue. So
Okay.
any type of ADA issue would have to be post offer and acceptance by the board.
Okay.
Those would be things like if they need an accommodation and potentially a drug screen or something like that could be an accommodation type of an issue. Hopefully, if it was any kind of criminal matter associated with it, it'd get picked up in the background check.
That's the hope.
That is the hope.
Thank you. Any other comments? So therefore, could I get a motion that we accept for the first read and potential modification proposed changes for board policy GACC recruitment and hiring with the added suggested information for hiring sequence
So
and
moved.
hiring? I
So
need a
moved.
second. Thank you. It has been moved and seconded. Susan, would you please do the roll call for us to vote?
Maxine Drew,
Maxine Drew, yes.
Yolanda Clark,
Yolanda Clark, yes.
Janie Humphries,
Janie, Janie, yes.
Randy Lopez,
Randy, yes.
Wanda Brownlee Page,
On the Brownlee page, yes.
and Valdie Nguyen.
Valdina Nguyen, yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. I need a motion for us to accept the first read and potential modification proposed changes to board policy GACCA nepotism.
So moved.
I need a seconded.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Are there any questions? Any? So Susan, would you do the roll call vote for us to be able to approve it, please, for second read?
Yes, Maxine Drew,
Maxine Drew, yes.
Yolanda Clark,
Yolanda Clark, yes.
Janie Humphries,
Janie, yes.
Randy Lopez,
Randy, yes.
Wanda Brownlee Page,
On the Brownlee page, yes.
Valdie Nguyen.
Valdina Nguyen, yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you, everyone. We're now ready to accept the first read and potential modification proposed changes to board policy GAHB political activities. Are there any questions or comments? May I
Can we
get
get
a
a motion first?
May I get a motion, please?
So move.
Second,
It's been moved and seconded. Are there any questions or comments? Okay, Susan, we're ready for the roll call vote, please.
Maxine Drew,
Maxine Drew, yes.
Yolanda Clark,
Yolanda Clark, yes.
Janie Humphries,
Janie, yes.
Randy Lopez,
Randy, yes.
Wanda Brownlee Page,
Wanda Brownlee Page, yes.
Daldina Nguyen.
Aldina Nguyen, yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you all so much. At this time, we are ready to adjourn our special meeting. Any questions or comments? The meeting is adjourned. Thank you.